In today's video, how to set up your mini cut, nutrition, training, and cardio. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Rebella from ProPhysique.com, and today I want to go over a topic that I get asked about all the time. And you already know what it is because you clicked on it. So the first thing that I would like to do is hear from you. In the comment section below, why are you interested in a mini cut? Because this is the first thing that I get into with a client, and I'm going to treat you guys just like a client today. If you're interested in the evidence-based approach to losing body fat, building muscle, and having the physique of your dreams, hit subscribe. It's what I love to do here. So what I want you to do is leave me below the reason that you are actually starting this process. Why are you looking to do a mini cut? Why are you interested in them? Because it's something that I like to get into. I like to get into the mindset of my athletes. And actually I find that's the most important part of the mini cut. What is your why? It's actually probably the most important part of any physique goal. What is your why? Because things are going to get hard, things are going to come up, your old way of life is going to get in the way, and you're going to have to make some changes. And so to make those changes, you have to have something very powerful. Now, early in my career, I didn't realize just how powerful that was. I committed to doing a bodybuilding show. Of course, not everyone needs to do this, but what happened was it changed my mindset. I started looking at things a little bit differently. So for your mini cut to be successful, you need to ask what your why is. Because if it's not a powerful why, you're probably not gonna follow through with it. You're probably gonna get a couple days, maybe a week into it, and then you're just gonna be like, you know what? I haven't seen my friend in a while. He wants to go out drinking. We're gonna go out drinking. Instead of saying, I'm gonna go out with my friend and I'm gonna drink Diet Coke instead of having, a couple shots of tequila. You see, you start to change your decision-making process. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of your nutrition, your training, your cardio, you have to get into the why. Usually people lose their goals because of what's between their ears, okay? It's not that the diet is too hard, it's not that the training is too hard. We can endure amazing things, but we start to kind of second guess ourselves because we don't really have a really good reason for what we're doing. So think about what your reason is, and that's what I want to hear below in the comment section right now. Why would you be interested in doing a mini cut? So as a client of mine, here's what I would do. I would say, let's look at your calories, okay? Where are you maintaining your weight at? Where are you at right now with your protein, your carbs, and your fats? And if you don't know that information, well, I've got a free tool for you. So if you go to ProPhysique.com, I've got a calorie calculator on there. And actually, if you plug everything in, it'll actually estimate for you where we should start your cutting calories, okay? So based on that fact, let's just assume we have your starting calories. Now we're gonna probably get into the nuts and bolts of how much protein, how much carbs, and how much fat you should be taking in. I've done these videos before, but in regards to a mini cut, we're gonna be pretty aggressive. So I think it's important that we really focus on protein first. Why? Because no matter how much weight you lose, no matter how much body fat you lose, you do not wanna lose lean body mass. And protein is gonna really allow us to add some volume to our meals. Protein takes up a lot of space on the plate. And it's gonna allow us to make sure we keep that muscle that we've been working so hard to build. So a good place to start with protein is about 1 gram per pound of your goal weight. So I'm gonna make this up. You're a client, you're reaching out to me, you're 150 pounds, you wanna do a mini cut. Mini cut by definition is short but intense. So we're gonna say we're gonna lose 10 pounds in 4 weeks. Okay. So we're gonna set our protein at 140 grams per day, easy. Now, if you wanna eat 150 or 160, you're probably fine. If you wanna eat 120 or 130, you're probably fine. Again, there can be some pretty good variance when it comes to protein, but as long as you're around that 1 gram per pound of your target weight mark, you're gonna be in a good spot. Now, getting a little bit more aggressive as we are, fats are gonna come down quite a bit. Now, I typically say 25% of your total calories should be fat for a lot of reasons based on research. But because we are getting a little bit more aggressive, I'm gonna give you my bottom line number. The bottom line that I ever wanna see somebody's fat at is about 15% of your total calories. Now that is very low. So I have some threshold actual numbers for you. So for a female, 30 grams per day, that is very low for me. That's a scary number. When I have to tell a client 30 grams of fat, we're probably getting close to stage condition, right? We're probably walking that line of being completely shredded. And for a guy, same thing, 40 grams of fat is my scary low number. When I have to get my fat down to 40, 45 grams a day, I find that, you know what? That is the bare minimum to get what I need out of fat, because fat does a lot of good nutritionally for us. But it also does something else. When you reduce fat, In a situation like a mini cut, what you find is that food selection becomes much more narrow. You don't have a lot of options. When you're eating more fat, more carbs, you can look around and think, oh, I could eat that, I could eat that. When fat comes down, you have to have lean sources of protein and you have to have lean sources of carbohydrates, okay? So this is where we can really be aggressive by dropping that fat down a little bit. Again, because this is for a short period of time, not for a long period of time to reach our goal. Now, where do we set our carbohydrates? Well, if you're gonna set your protein where it's at, and if you're gonna set the fat where I just mentioned, you're gonna be left with a range of carbohydrates. I'm gonna assume, being on the more aggressive side, it's gonna be between 80 today, maybe 300 a day, depending on your size, how sedentary you are. But overall, what you really wanna do with carbohydrates is try to limit the amount of fat that you're getting with the carbohydrates. Simply because since you only have, let's say 30 to 45 grams of fat a day, you want high quality fat sources. You don't want to be getting fats from foods that are also including carbohydrates, all right? So now we've talked about diet. You're setting your numbers pretty aggressively. The term 500 calorie deficit is something that a lot of people use to say, well, if you lose 500 calories a day, that's 3,500 over the week, that's a pound of body fat, hooey. We're not worried about that. What we're worried about is setting this for a mini cut as aggressively as we can and stick to it, okay? So even if you're in a, say, 1,000 calorie deficit and you're losing 3, 4, 5 pounds a week, that's okay for a mini cut because we understand what's going on here. We understand that we're gonna be a little bit hungry, we're gonna be a little bit tired, but we're gonna get through this short period of time to reach our goal. So we look great for, put it in the comment section below. I really wanna hear what people use mini cuts for, because I've heard photo shoots, I've heard, vacations, I've heard, weddings, whatever it might be, but I'm curious why you guys are interested in a mini cut. So let's move on to our training protocol. Once our diet is set up, how should we train differently? Now for a mini cut, you wanna make sure you're keeping your muscle. But if you're tracking your training volume and intensity, I would not try to do a higher intensity or higher volume training block at this time. The reason being is with restricted calories, you don't want to get into a state where your training is really detrimental to your overall progress. You don't want a ton of inflammation. You don't want a ton of muscle soreness. I still want you to train hard, but I would just put you in a position where you're going to maintain your strength throughout this process. Because if we can use some extra time, it should be used to create the deficit through more movement. Depending on the type of training you're doing, I would typically focus on low intensity steady state. Now, if you're a sedentary person and you're able to just get out and walk more or get on an incline treadmill and walk, that's gonna have a profound impact on your schedule. If you're somebody who's already highly active, you probably don't need to add more cardio, okay? I would be weary of just doing too much, okay? You wanna make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to succeed, but not putting yourself in a position where you might fail because you're so run down and you just give up. Again, a lot of this just comes down to knowing yourself and being aware of what's going on. And so the final thing for this mini cut, since you're coaching yourself and I can't do it, is that you create some accountability. I want you to take pictures of yourself every week. You can post them on your computer and look at them side by side. I would also like you to take measurements. Get one of these handy waist measuring devices. Well, you can actually measure anything. You can measure your waist, your leg. You simply wrap it around, you press the button, it zips up. It's called Rydea, okay? I got this off Amazon for a couple bucks. It's been super handy. My waist has come down from over 40 inches to under 36 during my fat loss transformation, which is gonna be done here in August. So I will be doing a physique update soon, neither here nor there. So you're gonna be accountable to you for this process of this mini cut. You're gonna take pictures, you're gonna take measurements, obviously you're gonna step on the scale. Now, what you're gonna do is each week look at those things. And the reason being is when you know you have to look at a picture of yourself, I promise you, you're gonna make a decision that's better. This was the first thing I noticed when I got a coach for the first time. I found that on Saturday or Sunday, when I really felt like cutting loose a little bit, I would say to myself, man, I have to turn in pictures Monday morning to my coach. Do I really wanna F up all the work that I put in and not make progress just because of a day? That is the power of having a goal that is important to you, okay? That is what changed my behavior. That is what allowed me to say, you know what? I'm not gonna do things that are kind of detrimental to me making progress. I'm gonna plan my meals ahead of time. I'm going to get to bed on time. I'm going to schedule my training and cardio and not let my day overwhelm me. This type of planning ahead is what makes for a successful diet. Now, even though it's a mini cut, what I really want you to do is try to find some good habits that you can develop during this time. For me, the most important habit for the people that I coach is that we're planning our meals ahead of time. You're buying your food, you're cooking it, you're preparing it, and you're putting it in the refrigerator so that when you're hungry, you simply go in and grab it and eat it. You are not waiting until you're hungry, going on your phone, seeing what's close by, and trying to hit your macros. That's fine occasionally. If the opportunity is there for you to kind of do something out of the ordinary and you can't miss out on it, that's fine. But the majority of your meals need to be planned ahead. You need to already know what you're eating. Why? Because when we're hungry, we make stupid choices. We make bad choices. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I clearly need to go to the drive-thru. If I'm craving it, I'm gonna be intuitive and I'm gonna have some French fries because I need it. Wrong. If you already have a meal planned ahead of time, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna go, I'm hungry, you're gonna go inside, you're gonna heat it up, you're gonna eat it, you're gonna be full, you're gonna feel good, you made a good decision, and now you're excited. All right, guys, that's it. Let's make some progress. How much weight should you lose per week during a mini cut? Listen, I'm okay with losing 3, 4, or 5 pounds a week during a mini cut, okay? I'm okay with doing 2-a-day cardio sessions during a mini cut. I'm okay with being ultra aggressive with calories because the goal is to get a little bit of weight off, either to get us shredded because we're already lean, or if we've been bulking for a while, just to get us to a healthy and happy place where we're maintaining our weight in a nicer place so that we can have some long-term success. I hope you enjoyed the mini cut video, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.